Hello everyone, welcome back to the PokeRand channel. I'm not sure how to intro these things, so I'm just gonna get straight into it. My name's Randolph, all that jazz. I make Pokemon videos, I own a couple Pokemon businesses, I'm a collector, been in the game since I was 5 or 6 years old, you know, played all the, okay, yeah. I'm just trying to let you know that I wanna make sure that new people who watch this channel don't just think I'm some sort of waffler, and actually I'm a quote-unquote expert in this field, you know. But today we're going to be speaking about the current status of the Pokemon hobby from a distribution point of view, specifically how it relates to the current quote-unquote, have I said that twice now? MJ Holdings scandal that people are talking about, which I'll get into in a second as well. But yeah, it's tough right now. Right now, the hobby has never been more alive. You know, it's never been more busy than this. You know, we've had a few booms in the past. Pokemon Go was a big one. The COVID era / the Logan Paul era was a big one. And now we have another big one. But I think this one right here that we're currently going through is the most natural of them all, you know. There wasn't anything that went crazy. Nothing's necessarily happened other than people are more interested right now. I think what happened is the Logan Paul era went crazy, the COVID era went crazy, crypto, a lot of the financial sort of market started to drop a little bit, you know, people sort of got back to work, back to reality, and the general interest in Pokemon just sort of simmered a little bit. It didn't go away, it just simmered. Scarlet and Violet came out, the first few boxes were all right, but they weren't necessarily anything crazy. The new games were coming out, everyone was adjusting, finding the new Pokemon, you know, Finnazin, Palafin, you know, what are these Pokemon all about? And then 151 happened, and then Pokemon brought out 151. Obviously, Pokemon know what they're doing, by the way, just to let you guys know, they know what they're doing in terms of marketing, in terms of what sets to drop, in terms of what cards to reprint, what Pokemon to put in these sets. They know what they're doing. They're masterful at this. However, yeah, this boom for me has just been like Pokemon putting out good sets, and people were there, people are in the hobby, but we're finally now getting good sets, 151, into, what else, Prismatic. You know, it's just like, and obviously, depending on what you think about Prismatic, Surgeon Sparks, but they start to put good sets out again, is what I'm saying. So the interest just came back, you know. Finally, there's a reason to go crazy about these sets, and that's what started happening, which in a way is a good thing, you know. It wasn't sort of Logan Paul or crypto or these other weird, like, live things that were sort of causing this. It was just Pokemon becoming better again. Also, TCG Pocket did come out again. Let's not understate that. That is a great point. TCG Pocket did come out. I do think in general, the Pokemon TCG itself has been really, really popular. There are more players than ever before at the World Championships, at the recent EU Internationals, not only in the video game, but also the TCG. Over 1,000 players, I think, in the TCG. So Pokemon's just on fire right now. They're doing the right things, and I'm excited for the future. And the future's not going to slow down anywhere from here on out. So the first elephant in the room is the printing levels of Pokemon. Pokemon are printing at capacity, man. They're printing as much as they possibly can as of right now. When you consider sets like 151, especially in Japan as well, sets like 151 are still in demand, even in England, over in the West, you know, in USA, in English, right? In English, the language, Pokemon cards, English. Even that's going crazy, you know. So like, how can they properly print enough Journey Together and Destined Rivals when they can't even meet the demand for a set that is now 2 years old, 2023? Isn't that just insane, guys? So yeah, if you don't know, Pokemon did relatively recently acquire an entire print company. I think it's Millennium Print Group. They used to use that print group to print cards, and then they just bought the company. It's like Ace Grading buying our plastic manufacturer, which we would love to do that in a heartbeat if we could, because, you know, therefore, rather than outsourcing that, we just control it, you know. So it's a pretty boss move to go and purchase the entire, you know, printing company. So they are sort of at capacity, and I'm sure right now there are people in the Pokemon company ordering more printers, buying more equipment, and take it from someone as myself who is a co-owner and a co-founder of Ace Grading, which is a company that is currently has too much demand compared to the amount of cards it can grade and send out per day. It's not easy. You have to hire staff. And think about that. Staff is not even it's an amazing thing, because you get to meet new people, you get to bring new talent into the company, you get to provide for families, you get to provide for the economy, the country. It's amazing, but it's not easy, because you have to find the right candidates, advertise them, interview them, check them, make sure they're good enough, then train them. It's just like, it's real work, you know, and it takes time. So same thing with Pokemon right now. As Ace is starting to try and produce more plastic parts per day and try and hire more graders and more staff per day, Pokemon are doing the same thing, you know. And then it comes to buying, you know, a new plastic injection molding machine that is, you know, hundreds of thousands of pounds. Where you gotta think on your feet, you know. So scaling up, even though it sounds easy to you guys in the community, oh, just print more cards, man. Just got to print more cards. It's not that easy to do that, you know? So that's one thing. That's one part of this whole puzzle right now. The other part is that what I spoke about in the recent video the other day, where now sort of the market is hot. Everyone wants to buy things at retail because things are going so high. When things do come out for retail, people buy them whether they want them or not, you know? If they don't want them, because they can get them for a cheap price, they'll buy them. Do they really want them? Okay, do you want Destined Rivals? Do you want Journey Together? Do you want 151? Do you want Prismatic? Do you want Japanese Glory of Team Rocket? Do you want Japanese 151? Do you want Heatwave? Do you want, you know, it's just like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff going on. Yeah, that's one point. And then the next point is the distributors, okay? And this is the main topic of today's video. And I have my own experience with this and my own thoughts as well, which I'll get into. So first and foremost, what is happening right now? What is the scandal? So I've watched some videos, I've done some research on this as well, and loosely I've sort of know what's going on. But in America, there's a distribution company called MJ Holdings. Now, again, I don't use them. I've never used them. I'm from the UK. I'm not in that jurisdiction, if you call it that. But I know a lot of people in the US do. I think it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, distributor of Pokemon cards. And usually what the role of a distributor is Pokemon are the manufacturer, okay? They're the producer of these cards, you know? Obviously, you do have it split as well. So just remember, the Japanese cards are not the same company as the English side. Well, they are, but they aren't, okay? I'm not going to go into a full history lesson on Pokemon. You can get Cerebi or Joe Merrick to go and do that for you. He'll do that easily. What a legend that guy is. But different operation, okay, I will say. So in the English side of things, Pokemon, they make the sets, they print the cards, then they don't sell them to me. Like as a store, as an e-commerce store owner, they don't sell them to me. They sell them to distributors, okay? And then what the distributors do, the distributors then allocate them to stores, you know? So you've got Pokemon Company, then you've got the distributors, then you've got the stores, then you've got the customers, okay? All Pokemon do is just sell them to distributors, you know. So that's Pokemon do not choose who to give it to, okay? It's completely different. So what happens is Pokemon send all their stock, sell all their stock to distributors, and obviously there are multiple distributors out there. There are official ones, there are semi-official ones. You know, there are people getting stock from Pokemon, there's people getting stock from other people, all that kind of jazz, you know. And then what happens is the distributor's role is to get it to the stores, you know, so the Pokerands of the world, the Tesco's of the world, the Walmarts of the world, you know, the Targets. And that's where it gets a little bit difficult because, hold that thought, what the allegations are against MJ Holdings is that they have another company, an alias called GT Collectibles, which is Walmart's online marketplace selling Pokemon cards at prices significantly above the manufacturer's suggested retail price. So in the US, it's called MSRP. In the UK, it's called RRP. Recommended retail price. We know it as retail, okay? So, yeah, essentially you have my kind of store, which is Pokerand, e-commerce store. Then you have like Walmart, Target, Smith's in the UK, Tesco, supermarkets. You have these stores that are bound to... I say bound loosely. They sell things at recommended retail price. They don't care. Walmart, Tesco, Smith, they do not care what price. Sorry, they don't care what it is. They just sell it. You know, they stock millions of items, thousands of items, from Pokemon to toys to, I don't know, hoodies, all that jazz. You know, they don't care what they sell. They just want to sell everything. So they buy everything at wholesale. Nom, 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 nom. They buy everything from Pokemon. They buy everything from Yu-Gi-Oh. They buy everything and sell it all. So they don't care about scalping. They don't care about listing it high. They don't care about going above the market price. They just sell it at retail, you know. They get it, they stock it. And it is a requirement and I don't know if it's actually a requirement, but it probably is a requirement from Pokemon that the distributor, i.e. MJ Holdings or Asmodee in the UK, give more to the brick and mortar and the retail stores than they do e-commerce stores online, you know. And why is that? Is because they are sort of bound for that retail price, you know. So Pokemon will send, say they've got 1 million boxes. They get 1 million boxes. They send 800,000 to the retail stores. They send 100,000 to the Play Pokemon stores, the official league stores. Then they send like the rest of the 100,000 split between 100,000 stores like mine, for example, you know. Obviously, that'd be 1 box each, which recently it feels that way. But this is a good thing. This is not a bad thing, by the way. It's good. I think it's good for high street stores, retailers to get more product. It's what you want, you know? You want the kids out there, you want the parents, you want the people, the casuals to go into a shop and be able to buy a pack. That's what you want, you know? And even me, as a business owner, I would rather that be a reality than I get some, okay? And in that, by the way, obviously, on these videos, I do waffle a lot, but keep the thoughts there, guys. In that scenario, by the way, Obviously, the reason why that is good is because obviously stores like mine, or I shouldn't say that, sorry, someone like, okay, how do I say this? I'm a good store, right? I stick to the rules as much as possible. However, other stores, you can't really, Pokemon can't trust all us more than they can trust Walmart, Target, Smiths, Tesco. You know what I'm saying? Of course. These are all massive billion-dollar companies. They do things properly. Not to say that I don't, but my kind of stores, who knows what they're going to do, So I think it's right that it goes to them. I also think it's right that it goes to official Play Pokemon stores and official League stores, because that is the hobby. The hobby is the players, the hobby is the collectors, the hobby is people going there with their friends just to buy a couple packs, sitting down and having a good time. That's the hobby, So that leaves stores like mine with we had 30 boxes for Journey together, literally 30 boxes. Obviously, I cannot run a business at 30 boxes, but obviously I do other stuff. I stream, we sell singles, we do a bunch of other stuff. So I'm not complaining here, by the way. I'm just letting you know how the ecosystem works. However, okay, one point real quick. So stores, other than the retail stores, can list it £200, £500 above market, right? And sometimes they have to do that, I will say. Some stores, I am lucky that I can supplement my business with streams, YouTube content or other stuff, I've been pretty good on my feet, with the whole I have other income from YouTube. I don't just do Pokemon, I do other stuff as well, So I'm all right, I can maneuver it. Some stores can't. Some stores have overheads. They sort of have staff to pay, as we are starting to now. So maybe we'll change. I don't know. But obviously, I'm not against people listing a bit higher than retail. However, it depends how many items they get. I really should probably, let me know. Should I write my topics out to give you this in an ordered way, or should I just waffle? I think that waffling's better, just keep it natural. Anyway, back to the point. Stores sometimes will list more than retail. That's a topic for another video. If it's good, is it bad? We'll talk about that at a different time. However, what I'm saying is that stores will do that. What's happening at the minute, and what is sort of accused of MJ Holdings and also GT Collectibles, which is a subsidiary of them, is that they are inflating the prices and going above retail, okay? And you got to think of it like this. If Pokemon are selling me, I think it costs me, a wholesale for Pokerend, it costs me, I think it's £75 if you buy a certain amount, because you get scale discount per booster box, right? So therefore, if I'm paying that from the distributor, what is the distributor paying Pokemon? It must be £50, right? And obviously you can compare this to dollars, whatever. But essentially, they're getting an even lower price than I am. And I will say real quick, if I sell a product at retail on Pokerend, it's a good profit margin, okay? Selling a product that I bought for £75 excluding VAT and selling it for £154 including VAT, even with the taxes, even with VAT, even with paying staff, that's a good margin, healthy margin. The problem is with Pokemon, that hasn't been the case. Most boxes go under retail and have them forever, Only in these small times does it actually go for retail, So when things are at retail, I will sell 1,000. I'd sell 1,000,000 at retail. I don't want to sell higher than retail. Most stores out there don't want to sell higher than retail. The scalpers do because they buy it at retail. But what I'm saying is, retail is a great profit margin. Fantastic. What happens is, MJ Holding, or what they're being accused of, GT Collectibles, or what they're being accused of, are not only paying 75, they're paying probably somewhere in the 50s, lower 40s. And then they're selling it for retail or over retail. So they're completely cutting out the retail. So they're completely cutting out my kind of store, the retail stores. This is why everyone's really angry, and rightly so, man. Rightly so. They've got a responsibility. There we go, to distribute these items properly, fairly. And again, I understand the market and the demand is so high that everyone wants a piece of it. Everyone wants a piece of Journey Together. Obviously, if you can sell it for $200 booster box, or Destined Rivals, if you can sell it for $300 booster box, everyone wants these things. Everyone's going to buy them and sell them, But obviously, the distributors have a responsibility to do it fairly, and on the most part, they do. One thing I want to say and want to ask is that when stores and when distributors, like MJ Holding do this, what are the rules anymore, Because if the distributor who is supplying us is doing that, then there's the whole. It's like the government doing it. It's like the who knows? It's like the government it's fraud. It's essentially fraud. Is it fraud? It's not right though. It's not right. You know, it's essentially the people who hold the power to distribute the entire ecosystem of Pokemon are the ones listing higher or completely cutting out the retail stores or the end stores, the mum and dad stores, you know, the hobbyist stores. Because again, I would happily sell 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 boxes at retail because the margin's good, you know. I've been, for years, I've been in this game since like, in the business side of things, since 2019, 2020, I've been asking my distributor for thousands of boxes every time. I remember we sold 300 boxes of Vivid Voltage, and by the way, that's the most I've ever got for a set, just 300, in 30 seconds. And I was on the phone to them, like, can we just get 1,000 a month? Oh, sorry, 1,000 every new set release. I'll pay it, we can do it happily. Yes, they said on the phone, yeah, we'll do that. Comes to it, we don't get it, you know? So, where's the source of truth? You know, where's the Bible? Where's who's holding the responsibility if the distributors who are supposed to be doing that aren't doing it? That's the upset. That's why everyone's upset, you know. And I got to agree because the reality is you can't trust stores like me. You can't trust. You can, but I'm saying my kind of stores. You can't trust these last. Because when I was getting into it, anyone could make an account and distributor. You didn't have to have a VAT company number. You could just make a company. You could be like, oh, hey, I want some boxes. They send it to you. That person's gonna stick them in the garage. That person's gonna sell them on Facebook for X, 3, 4, 5X. You know, who's holding the responsibility here? And it is the distributors. The distributors have that responsibility. So when they are not playing by the rules, what the rest of us do, you know? Because again, I'd happily sign something. I vow to only ever sell my products at retail if I can get 1,000, you know, if I can get 1,500. And I have accepted that I don't care anymore. I'm over it. When I get my allocation for Destined Rivals, I don't care because I know I'm not even playing this game anymore. I'm not even in the race anymore. I'll sell my 40 at retail and then I'll go on with my business doing other stuff, you know. So it's tough out here, man. It's tough. So if we can't trust the distros, who do we trust, you know? And this is where Pokemon, I don't want to say Pokemon don't care, because I think they do care, but, you know, I would love to be able to go to Pokemon and be like, look, I'm a great store. Look at my YouTube, here's my YouTube channel, here's my community, and I'm sure those watching can vouch for the authenticity of Pokemon. Obviously, I do sell stuff for more than retail on a lot of the time, especially if it's past release, you know, but on release, when I get it from my wholesaler at the actual wholesale price, I list it at retail. The only time I don't list it at retail is when I have to go and source, for example, Prismatic at £72, £75 on ETV. Then I have to sell it higher because I am buying it less, you know. That's right, I'm buying it more. And you can say you don't have to sell it. Obviously, I don't have to do anything, but if I'm running a business, if I've got staff to pay now, if I'm also wanting to provide content and packs and enjoyment to my audience, then yeah, I have to got to buy something. And also, it's easy to buy from a store that you trust, like Pokerand, than buy on eBay, than buy on these other sources that you can't trust, you know. So I've done the groundwork to build the authenticity. I've done the groundwork to bring the quality of shipping, the quality of customer service, the quality of everything, you know. So that's why I want to be able to provide my viewers, and also people are coming into the hobby from my videos. New people are coming in, so I'm like, okay, cool. You want to shop with me? I need to get the stock from somewhere. I'd rather you buy from me than buy from someone who's going to scam you, you know. So that's why I would also list prices higher or list items for higher price if I have to pay more for them. But if I can get all the stock from Pokemon, of course I'll list it at retail, of course, you know. But then if a distributor is getting greedy and they're taking all the stock away and giving it, you know, or selling it for higher and cutting out everyone else, then it just get a little bit bloody and messy, you know. So yeah, that's that. Hopefully I got there with the understanding of that. So you've got sort of, Pokemon printing the items, send it to the distributors. The distributor's job and responsibility is then send it out to the retail stores, so you can buy it from the supermarkets, the grocery stores. Then you can buy it from the Play Pokemon stores, the official leagues out there, the official, dedicated Play Pokemon stores where everyone goes there to play tournaments. Yeah, cool. And then whatever's left over gets sort of divvied up and calculated and split between Pokerand, between Collector's Card House, between Chaos Cards, between, you know, all this kind of stuff. I'm trying to think of America. I don't know. All these stores in America. Actually, what are the stores in America? I don't know what they are. But you know what I'm saying? Then it gets to us, you know. And I'm happy with that ecosystem. That ecosystem does work. It doesn't work, however, if the distributor doesn't actually distribute it out, you know. So I would say then, you know, Pokemon probably should look at sort of reaching out. Hey, Pokemon, if you're watching this and you're ever interested, I will happily uphold the rules and stick to the retail if you can supply me with a good amount. But that's not the reality. It's not going to happen. And again, I also have more sort of opinions on the retail side of things as well. I don't think you should be going at stores like mine or other stores out there if they do occasionally list a little bit more than retail, you know. there's people out there that are sharks, and the people out there that are only doing it for the wrong reasons. But you know, it doesn't, I don't have to sit here and sort of argue and try and sort of persuade you guys for my case. I've got my audience, I've got my supporters. You know, if you like it, that's great. You know what you're in for. If you are just a hater, then I've been in this YouTube game long enough. I've been in this business world long enough to understand that people who hate you, you're never going to change their mind. You know, and they often hate you for reasons that are outside of the actual parameters of what they're talking about, you know. And those who watch my streams, who watch my videos, who buy from the business, you guys know who I am, and that's who I work, thrive, and live for, you know. So yeah, just there we go. I think that's what a weird video, what a weird train of thought. But yeah, there's more videos out there if you want to look at this MJ Holdings scandal. But I'm sort of just giving you a bit of an insight into how things work. ChatGPT summarize this video. What has Randy said? A whole lot of nothing, but I think it makes sense, you know. I'm trying to say that so many stores out there, like mine, would happily sell and provide the community with 4 retail products at retail price, on release, beyond release, and do the right things, when it appears our distributors and our higher ups aren't doing the same thing. So therefore, if they don't play by the rules, how do we even compete, you know? So it is a little bit annoying. So yeah, you have to remember, guys, that, you know, it just comes back to what I always say: just do and buy and collect what you enjoy, you know? You don't have to buy every new set, you know? You don't have to buy Journey Together. You don't even have to buy Distant Rivals. We don't even know what's in it yet. We've seen a Meowth card. We've seen a Wobble Effect card. Sorry for spoilers. We've seen, again, if you have spoilers, then close your ears. We have seen, I think, was it a Zacian? Is that meant to be? We've seen 4 cards, you know? So you don't have to buy it. Yes, Mewtwo's on the cover. Cool. Yes, Giovanni's Mewtwo is probably going to be a SAR. Yeah, cool. But like, you know, you don't have to buy it. You don't have to. You go. And by the way, what I think is beautiful in times like this is when you've got sort of 151 being so expensive and Blastoise EX regular being so expensive. Why don't you go back to Evolutions, man? Go and pick up Blastoise. We're running singles on the Pokerun streams every day, 10 a.m. And like these older cards are going for £4 or £5, and the brand new cards are going for £7, £8, £9. You know, why not go and buy a quote unquote rarer Blastoise EX in clean mint condition still for cheaper than you can buy the current hype sets, you know? To educate yourselves, guys, watch more Randolph Pokemon videos. Watch the, again, there can be wrong content creators, and this can be a whole other video as well. If you're talking about responsibility of stores and companies like distributors, what about the content creators like me, you know, people out there? But obviously, as you guys know, I always keep it real, but other people don't, you know. So yeah, I am going to try and make more videos to educate you. I'm going to try and make more videos on the Randolph Pokemon channel. I'm trying to build the business here so I can get more staff and it can be more autonomous so I don't have to do every single part of it. I'm going to talk about that in tomorrow's video. Why not film a video tomorrow? I'll go through it. But yeah, tomorrow, guys, 10 a.m. I'm doing a stream on Whatnot. Make sure you go and check my link out in the description. I'm doing a box break actually of this right here, and I'm giving away 30 of the packs for free, maybe some more. There's 60 packs in total. I'm giving away 30 for free. The rest will auction. Yeah, come check this out. It's going to be a very fun stream tomorrow, 10 a.m. And yeah, thanks for watching. You know, I'm going to talk about other stuff in other videos. I don't want to cram it in this one. But yeah, hopefully this has been enjoyable. Take care. Love you all. Peace.